Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Cream Conversation. Today we're actually in my house because some technical issues. We're actually moving office, but Gong Hua has very gracefully graced my home with her presence. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I actually reached out to her to do this because she is a food artist, conceptual food artist.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard of one before, but I haven't. So I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation that we're going to be having today. Outside of that, we're also Scorpios. You have to bring that up. Always I met her before a few times, and then when I met her at a recent event at our friend's event, we had a chat, and I was like, oh my God, Scorpio, no wonder you're cool. Okay, let's get into it. So, do you want to let us know a little bit about, because your brand is Who Eats Art,
Yeah.
right? It makes so much sense, right? Like, who eats art? Because she makes conceptual food art, get it? So, tell us a little bit about Who Eats Art and how it came about to be.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a food artist, like what Steph has shared. I create edible art installations. So yes, it's edible. I always have to repeat this sentence many times because people are like, okay, art installation.
This is so pretty.
Yeah, and like people just capture the art installations part and then they forget about the edible. And I'm like, yes, it's to be eaten. And I aim to just disrupt the status quo of conventional food and dining experiences. I mean, whatever that's out there, it's great. But I just want a little bit more from it so that it feels more personal. And it's been great. So far, it's been 5 years, by the way. So it's been really long time since COVID.
Yeah. So it started, is this a COVID hobby or?
Yeah, you're right about the hobby because it really started off as a hobby. This is why it's called Who Eats Art, because I was like, I don't really need branding or anything. Fun fact is just that I have just branded myself last year. So it's been 4 years without a branding, without anything, like no logos, no nothing.
So was it just based on your own personal account before it became more proper now?
I actually had the intention to build a community because people have always called me weird. Like growing up, it's always weird and it's not in a good way. So I was like, okay, I just want to embrace it. Like I can look at like a finished chicken bone and it looks like a horse. And I'll be like, does this look like a horse? And everyone's like, oh. But I think if you look closely, you can see that for yourself as well. And I really just wanted to build a group of people who are like that. It started during COVID because I was just doing like doom scrolling. So it just does you good when you want to like do something. And I was like, just start something. And then the name just came very intuitively, like Who Eats Art. Was like just a play on Who Needs Art, right? And then this is food related, so Who Eats Art. And then I just went to a void deck that's near me. I think you know the work.
Oh, that was my favorite one.
Yeah, the void deck. Can put the picture here. It's like a nice void deck with like really futuristic looking stools and table. And I just placed egg on it, and it was just that contrast that I really enjoyed visually. And I think that artwork to date is also still my favorite work because like people overseas, they don't know what a void deck, what HDB is.
Correct.
But they just look
And
at
the
the
stone
visual,
table.
they're like, wow, okay, it looks nice. Like, what is this? It's an indescribable feeling for people as well because they see that work and they're like, there's something that captures and captivates.
And I think that's what art is meant to do.
Yeah.
It's meant to move you in any way whatsoever, make happy, sad, angry. It's supposed to make you feel something.
Yeah.
And it may not be what the artist wanted to represent. It doesn't matter though, but it should make you feel something. And I think that's what you did really well with that one.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that one. And I know for artists, when they first started, they were actually just archive their very old works. But like that's something that I'm really proud of. And I would actually even pin it on my Instagram. Edible food art is something that's really interactive. It's not like any other medium where, you know, you just look at it like...
Yeah, and don't touch, usually it's like don't touch the art or don't go too close or something.
Yeah, like I really hate that in the museum. Like, I don't know if it's the Scorpio thing or ADHD. Like every single time I see the word do not cross the line, I just want to cross the line. For being a food artist, I actually get to encourage people to come forward to touch it. Like I have to actively tell people.
This is quite difficult as well because I remember the last event I went to that you were present.
Yeah.
You were like, please, like this is meant for you to be like interacting with. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's food, right? It's meant to interact. Even if I don't add in an interactive element, it is still meant to be eaten. So in a way, it still interact with your internals.
When did you figure that you wanted to use food as your medium for art?
I think I didn't really see it as a medium for art to begin with because I was just playing around with it and I enjoy food and that was during COVID, right? So like all you do is to eat and work. And slowly I realized that, people tell me They're, oh, you're using food as a medium. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. So you just naturally gravitated.
It was very, very natural. So back to your question on how I started. Last year, when I engaged a graphic designer and a writer to do my bio, they were the ones who looked at my art and they told me that, you know what, Gong Hua, actually, because they know that I'm actually Chinese, Shanghainese. So my formative years in Shanghai has allowed me to pull those Eastern influences into my works, which I don't see because I'm just the one creating it, right?
Okay.
I don't see that. And then they were like, look, you studied literature. So that's poetry that I breathe into the food now when I create my artwork. There's always a storytelling and it's always very poetic. And then they're like, and then you studied fashion. Like, I graduated from fashion school, so I like things that are visually appealing, things that are pretty. I just wanted more depth to it. And then I came from agency where I did events production, PR marketing. So I went into like the whole user experience. So I know how to curate that kind of experience so that once you step into a space, you don't just look at the piece of art first, you know, you just get a sense of the vibe.
I think that's really brilliant because, I mean, you're very young. And you're very young compared to me. So I feel like it's amazing because you have used a combination of your life's experiences and unknowingly just bring it all together. And now do you, compared to 5 years ago when you were doing a corporate job, do you feel like you're thriving a lot more? Like you're actually happy doing the work, even though maybe you're putting in more hours and, you know, working harder than you were in the past?
Yeah, I am so happy because calling it a career or a business is just very strange for me because I call it a hobby that has evolved into a practice and also like a way of seeing the world.
Yeah.
And I want to lend my eyes to the people around me as well. And I never thought that I have the capabilities of doing that. And actually, like, I've never shared this online because I think people just will get very confused. But I call Who Eats Up my son. Like, I feel like a single mom who raised my son, and it's been 5 years.
Right.
And like, there's just, you know, he's so playful. He plays with food, and people don't really understand the son because he's so naughty. You know, he's just doing this, doing that, and it's just an extension of myself.
Right.
But in a very different way.
Yeah.
So, who you know, I'm not even sure whether you know like Gong Hua as a person or you know my son because
Right.
you met me through my son.
Correct.
And I'm not sure if I adopted my son's personalities from doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
Or I am this person. So
I find it rather interesting because I do think that I've always told people that, especially because we live in the day of social media, you put out whatever you want to put out. We get to curate our own profiles and pages and whatnot, and through video or through, you know, stills and all that. But it's still like a fragment, like a tiny, tiny fragment of who we are as a whole. You know, I've known people with brilliant looking pages, but when I met them, they're so boring.
yeah.
And like a blank piece of paper, you know. And I've met people who have like very shitty looking profiles, very not curated. But when you talk to them, they're so full of life because they just can't be bothered with the online presence.
Yeah.
So I find that very interesting what you're saying because I do agree that when it comes to your work, there's a certain way that you have done it in breathing life into something. I do think that I see that in you.
Yeah.
But also like, I mean, you have a separate Instagram account which is just yourself where you're just living your best life.
Yeah.
It looks like you're having so much fun as well.
Yeah.
So I do think that it is one and the same, but in the way the analogy makes a lot of sense. Like that's your child and you're breathing life into it. And it could be still you, but it could be like, because we're always growing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 months later, you'll be like, you know what? That's not me anymore. I'm going to come up with a daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
still who is art, but just a different persona.
Yeah.
And that's also okay. I think you've evolved into actually becoming an artist, living and breathing. Because otherwise you wouldn't even have these thoughts.
Yeah.
If you allowed your business to consume you, there'll be the dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Where's the biggest amount of money you have to follow that path, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to congratulate you because you're having so much fun and the way you see it is so beautiful. It's a way that I would like to see my work, you know? So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your work going beyond the dining experience, as you said, right? But how do you approach, because I'm sure you have a brief as well, because you're working for clients, brands, or whatnot. How do you create something that people don't just taste, but remember, but also ties back to the branding?
So I think this is where my agency life comes in. Usually, for agency, you don't get to pick your clients, right? You know, they come to you. But I think as a food artist, and especially given how niche it is, I kind of attract the right kind of clients. So I love studying briefs, studying the brand, because I don't work for a brand. I can work for many, many brands.
Yeah.
And I love like just getting to know the product, like, you know, all like how it started, like just the history, everything, every ingredient that's used in the product, every material. And I break it down into like edible forms. And I think that's really fun because I love studying brands. And then just to see everything like through my own lens, it's a whole new different thing for me. And then to make it memorable, it's also, you know, going back to my own experience where I curate like really memorable, like every client wants the event to be memorable.
Of course.
Yeah, so you just have to keep breaking like boundaries. So remember I talked about how like I like disruption, like I just want to disrupt. So I feel like disruption is really just the way in. There needs to be something that feels coherent to the body. And because my medium is food, it's easy because you're actually consuming it. Could be like a piece of memory or like history, something that's relatable to the person consuming as well as the brand. So that's how you tie it together. I'm actually holding on to this medium that's so powerful that it can change, you know, how you feel, your emotions. Well, I can't control when like the emotions of people when they come to the event, because they could be feeling like having a bad day, and then when they taste food, it could be different.
Yeah.
But that's also interesting because when I go up to them, I ask, how do you feel about this? They can have like a whole new perspective, which I enjoy as well, because I always feel like, you know, the art does not end at the maker, which is myself, but it continues in the perceiver.
Yeah.
And I think you've experienced that for yourself at my event.
Yep.
So I think that's the interesting part, and that helps me to remember the event and also help the guests. I think that's, you know, the whole idea, like for you to remember the food, to complement the product, but also can be vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
What you're creating. I think for me, looking at what you've done so far, the most memorable one was the pasta in the shape of vessels.
3D printed, yeah.
Those were super, super cool. I think we should put something on the screen. Those were so cute. I was like, oh my God, I want to eat that.
Yeah.
And on that note of eating, because you were saying like, you know, how like the product tying back to the food and eating it. I want people to know also like you care about the taste, not just the taste, but how the taste actually ties back to the brand. Because she did explain to me in the last event that I went to, you know, why she used what she used.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for every single ingredient that she's putting into these edible art forms. I love that you take that time to give meaning to everything. Or maybe because I really appreciate that. Maybe some other people say, just food, you know, it just looks nice, whatever. But I really do love what you've been doing so far. Yeah, we're giving her too many compliments.
Yeah, I know. I was like, should I say thank you again?
Would you ever do like a personal exhibition, you think?
I have done, so I did 2 actually. No, I did 3. I did one in Shanghai where I was born. I did one in Sydney. I was based there for 2 years. And I did one in Singapore last year. And I don't think I'm going to do it this year because I need sponsors and investors.
In case you guys have money to throw.
Yeah, because I feel like for the amount of effort that I put into my own exhibition, it's really a lot of effort. But I can only do a maximum of 30 packs. Yeah, because that's my capacity. I can't talk to 90 people. Because when it comes to my own exhibitions, I need to interact with each and every one of them. Because there was a lot of emotions that's poured into your own exhibition. It's really like your life experiences and how you want people to take home, like what you want them to take home, you know? It's no longer a brand.
Yep.
I want them to take home another piece of themselves. This year, I was like, okay, let me take a break from my own exhibition because I do actually want to recreate these exhibitions for more people to enjoy.
Right.
Because I think I don't mind, you know, just doing this multiple times so that more people can sign up and get to experience this. Because usually for brands, it's always like a certain group of people who get to attend.
Yes. Yeah. Because like whatever brand, it's like a watch brand, it'd be like that catering to like that crowd, right?
Yeah.
Because I do think that more people should be able to experience what you're trying to put out there. Okay, next. On staying curious, a lot of your work is very playful, very experimental. How do you continue like being inspired, finding new ideas and pushing your concept forward without repeating yourself?
Okay, so I feel like, I think I'm just really blessed to have ideas coming to me all the time, even just through conversations, you know, random things like you don't even have to be talking about food. it's just a random wordplay. Like the other day, my friend was just saying like, oh, can we just have more peas, please? Like, you know, like peas, like the pea, the green thing. And I was like, oh, that's peas, please. Like, you know, okay. And I just created something out of that. I just envision a whole list of ingredients outside the door queuing up. And they're like, oh, what do you want to do with me? Because like, you know, just egg on its own, it's got so much potential.
Yeah.
Endless.
Yeah.
Like even adding an additional pinch of salt can change the flavor so
definitely.
much. And I get to work with form, I get to work with everything.
Yeah.
And food being the first medium that I work with, I do work with many other mediums as well. Because I feel like, you know, just the set design, like the vessel that holds the food, whether or not it's on the wall, on the table, that is something that I work with as well because it's going to tie in closely with the food to tell the full story. So I don't think I'll ever run out of ideas, but of course I will be worried as well, like how much luck can I have, you know, because everything that I do, it's always brand new. And these are the things that I can't even ask ChatGPT like, you know, questions because it's never been done.
Yeah,
they're always giving me the wrong answers actually. I will try.
AI.
I'll try what they tell me.
Yeah.
And it will be wrong. I will not tell them.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want the next person to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
like
Right,
that's the answer.
right,
Because I
right.
think people have to go through that R&D process.
Correct. Definitely.
That's how you learn, and it's actually the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah, just using your hands, failing, and then be like, oh, okay. And then you have to resort to using your brain because AI can't help you with that. That's how, you know, I just keep pushing through because maybe for this event, I do the R&D and then I come across something that I can use for the next event.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really, really fun and just endless possibilities.
Yeah. I love the way you talk about food and art and life because it makes like, it's not just you saying it, but it's almost like you can feel the energy, like she's so excited about it. Then it makes me excited to want to see your next work, which is why I wanted you to come on this podcast today, vodcast today, so that people can hear it. Because I think a lot of times, as you said, like if you see you at an exhibition, sometimes maybe we don't have time or people, you know, Singaporeans are very shy to come up and ask questions. So it's good that you have a voice to just put it out there as well. I do think that there are very few people currently who are not burned out, who are not kind of tired of what they're doing. Even if they love what they're doing, they're so passionate. At some point, capitalism comes into play. We still need to pay off our bills, right? And talking to you makes me happy about the work I do. Maybe because it's also a creative kind of work. Like people do ask me the same type of questions, like where do you get ideas from? Like, are you worried about this or you worry about AI taking over your job? And obviously I have a whole different set of answers for all of that.
Yeah.
But it's very in sync to the beat of your drum in terms of how you live life. I don't like harping on negativity. I like taking that, like as you said, what I've learned, something that's failed, and moving forward with it to do something else. Okay, so in closing today, what's one food memory that has stayed with you this whole time?
Right. Okay, I'm not sure if you're prepared for the answer. Why? Because it is a food memory and also a food memory.
Right.
Like food.
Yeah, I heard you the first time.
Just in case. Because eating salt and vinegar chips always remind me of my mom's food.
Food or foot?
Food.
Oh no, why? Where is this going?
Because growing up as Chinese, there's this thing where we soak our feet in white vinegar.
Is that right? Why?
It helps to exfoliate.
Really?
Just soften your skin. And you
Really?
get baby feet. Yeah.
What type of white vinegar? Any type?
Just the cheapest kind.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I think,
Do you dilute it?
I think so. Yeah, I think you have to. We've diluted with warm water, but it's really strong and pungent in the house.
Right.
This is why
I smell it everywhere.
you can smell it everywhere. And this is why I associate it with salt and vinegar chips. And because I knew this question was coming, so I started reflecting. Because it's something that I always eat in every city. I'll just be, I want to try their salt and vinegar chips. And I was like, okay, let me do some reflection. Like, why does this make me feel so good? Like, I wouldn't want to eat my mom's food, right?
Of course. Or maybe you do.
Her food, yes. Then I asked myself, I think it's the same thing, like that connection. So when I eat potato chips, a bag of potato chips, it reminds me of my mom. And I think it's nice because you don't soak your feet in front of everyone.
Yeah,
Always
for
like
sure.
in a really like, you're alone in a setting, private. So it just feels like my mom is beside me when I eat a bag of chips. And I was just thinking, 40 years down the road, you know, if she's no longer around and I'm eating this bag of chips, it's going to connect me back to her instant.
Right.
And it's just so personal. And I was like, okay, like, I think it makes sense now. And it kind of just links back to what I do as well, where I try to use food to trigger that memory.
Right.
Because food is so powerful.
Yeah.
And we have this tool right in front of us every single day. Like, everyone has this tool. Yeah, so I really like that I get to reflect on the small little things that I thought was once weird. And I tie it back to my job and I'm like, okay, it's perfectly normal because I do that now. I trigger your memory using foods.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a very sweet thing that you just shared with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thus concludes our current episode. I'm so happy that you came on board.
I'm happy that you invited me because I really don't get to speak like that.
Right?
In a
Because
very
usually
comfortable-
usually it has to be tied back to the brand or whatever, which is not wrong. But I really wanted to have a casual conversation because I would like to think I'm very intuitive. Like, even though whatever people put out on their social media or whatever, it's not their whole life.
Yeah.
But there is a very strong, your work has a very strong presence. And that makes me know that how serious you are as a person for your work. I do want people to understand that whatever you explained, basically, you've just told us that you love what you do, you have so much fun with it, but at the same time, you're like a multitude, you're like a universe of who you are. You're not just like Gong Hua, the food artist.
Yeah. I embody my son as well.
Yes. As we all should, whether it's like, even if it's not for work, you can have a passion and all that, because I feel like there are a lot of people stuck, like I said, in burnout or whatever. Go do something.
Yeah.
She said doom scrolling actually led her here, or not that doom scrolling could be bad, although everybody thinks it's bad, or like, go start running. I don't know. Do something, right? If you're stuck somewhere, because you never know where that would take you and how that would lead you to more ideas and better ideas and all that. Okay, and thus we conclude again. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much, Steph. Thank you. Bye.